Hey, Sean, um, can you put into, I guess, words as best you can, just from the emotion of watching it all unfold from that 34 seconds onward?
Yeah, at the end of the day, they made a play, Vic. And, as coaches, you sit here and you think immediately go to what could we have done differently. At the end of the day, they had two special players that made a special play.
Um, it looked like a couple of your special players delivered, certainly at that 34-second mark, with Josh throwing to Stefan. So when you see that as a coach, and again, I know you're processing other things and aware that the game isn't over, but what are your thoughts then? And you saw this amazing thing. It looked like a win was in place. Where were your thoughts?
No, listen, this is the NFL, Vic. You've been around the NFL. The game's not over until it's over. It's another reminder of it, in this game right here. So, especially when you know what type of players they got on their side with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald. And they got long, big receivers, and he made a play.
Hopkins makes an incredible catch, but is there any more? I know the answer is an obvious yes, because he makes the catch. But in your mind, three defenders and him coming down with it, as you think back to how it was set up and all of that, was there anything that you think could have been different other than the outcome of the play in how it was defended, or could you have done any better than that?
I mean, yeah, of course. Honestly, Vic, like, could I have done any better? Of course, I could have done better.
I meant in terms of that's what I was.
Yeah, there's always that's why I said what I said, Vic, when I came in here. The very first question I said, you're always, as a coach, you always think about what we could have done differently. Right? That's the very first thing I said. What could I have done differently? What could we have done differently? Right? You ask the players the same questions. We got great guys in this locker room. They're saying the same thing. Knock the ball down. We can't be interception minded in that situation. Knock the ball down. Right? So at the end of the day, give them the credit. They made a special play.
Thank you, Sean.
Hey, Sean, Adam Bonini. I guess to follow on Vic, is that just a fundamental breakdown there in terms of how the play was defended and how it was actually executed by those defending that pass?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we had three guys there, Adam. When I looked over, we had three guys. I haven't seen the video of it yet or anything like that, but we had three guys there. We got number one, you don't want the quarterback to be able to extend the play like that. Number one, stating the obvious. I thought we had him on the run a little bit there, and we had him towards his sideline, and looked like we had a rusher fall down, and then another guy coming as he unloaded it. So you always think about what we could have done differently. Again, like I said to Vic, that's the first thing we do, first thing I do, and so.
My only other follow-up is you had a timeout. You called timeout, I think, with 11 seconds left. Can you tell me the reasoning behind that, what the message was you tried to send to your team? And I guess in hindsight, did that allow them to maybe set something up?
Well, that's a question for them about scheming something up. At the end of the day, I don't know what scheme. I mean, listen, they made a play. They threw the ball on the run, and they made a play. So we had timeouts to burn. I was trying to get our rushers a rest and our players a rest and make sure they understood the situation, and take a look at their formation at the same time. And so we try and do that together, as much information as we can prior to a critical play or in that situation, the last play.
All right. Thank you, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, just kind of big picture question for you. Just how tough is it now that you guys don't have a game next week to be able to bounce back from this right away, and you have to sit on this feeling now into the bye week for 2 weeks?
Yeah, it hurts. It definitely hurts, Heather. I know it hurts everyone in our locker room, myself included. It hurts bad. But at the end of the day, that game should have never come down to one play, and that's the way you look at it. Certainly, again, give them the credit. They made the play, the special play they had to make to win the game and beat us. That game should not have come down to that play, and unfortunately, it did. So we take our lump, we live by it, and we learn from it. And it's got to drive you harder, man. It's got to drive us all harder to want even more.
I asked Josh this, and he's like, man, if I knew the answer, basically like that'd be great. But what is it about third quarters of games that seem to be this team's Achilles heel, where there's, I don't know if lapse in play is the right word, but it just seems like third quarters things start to really slow down. I mean, can you pinpoint anything as to why that might happen?
I'm aware of it, Heather. I am aware of it. I think that's a study for the off week coming up here and the bye week to really dive down and into that and look into it and make sure we're doing everything we can to make sure that gets better.
Thanks, John.
Yes, Sean, good evening. Coach McDermott, George Radney, Challenger Community News. Hey, look, tough in the day, but I'm wondering, what's your assessment of the defense? Look like the defense with the adjustments Leslie Frazier made in the second half, you really kind of controlled Kyler Murray the best you could. He really wasn't escaping for those large runs like he was doing earlier in the game.
Yeah, I thought they did. They did some good things. We did some good things on defense. They had a couple of drives there. One drive in particular where they were getting the quarterback on the pull. The quarterback read option play working on us, and we came back, made some adjustments to your point, and we were getting the ball back to our offense. We just didn't. At the end of the day, again, it came down to a one-score game, and should never have come down to that.
And how would you assess Dane Jackson as a rookie playing? It seemed like when he left the game, it seemed like you kind of felt a little drop off shortly once for that short period of when he was injured. How would you assess his play so far in the games that he's been in?
Yeah, I think Dane's done a nice job. I know he had the fumble recovery there on Taron Johnson's forced fumble early in the third quarter, second half there. So without looking at the film and whatnot with Dane, I think he looked like Hopkins was over there a little bit and early in the game, and Dane was he definitely held his own at times, and so I think he's off to a good start.
Hey, do you think the guys in the locker room will believe you when you tell them late in the game, hey, this game's not over, guys. Let's everybody be on our toes and make sure we
were talking about that. So we were talking about it, and again, when you got to play like Kyler Murray over there and the receivers that they have, you gotta expect it, and that's the way the NFL is. It's coming down. Every game goes down to the fourth quarter or last play of the game.
It certainly does. Hey, thanks a lot, Coach, and hey, take care. Safe trip back.
All right, thank you, sir.
Hi, Sean. When they get the ball back there on that drive, what's the balance as a defense between not letting guys get behind you, but also wanting to continue to be aggressive with what was working, for them to get those, yards to get into the position to even make that throw?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance, Matt. And I would just say, you always look back and say, hey, obviously we just needed to make one more play, so you don't want to, if you're defending a field goal, maybe a little bit different mindset there. You're defending a touchdown, the ball's thrown from right around, I think, midfield into the end zone. Usually you like your chances, but again, they made the play, so give them the credit.
I know you guys practice pretty much every situation, especially those end of game situations. What are kind of the teaching points, and is there thought, I guess, to putting like a big tall guy on the field to win those jump ball situations? I know that some teams will throw a guy back there like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different approaches. The challenge a little bit is 11 seconds on the clock. Technically, it's not the last play of the game, albeit it ended up being the last play of the game today. But if the clock's a little bit lower there, 7 seconds in particular, you're thinking for sure last play of the game. With 11 seconds to go, there's a chance that it's not the last play of the game if they get out of bounds on the next catch, obviously. So that then affects personnel and substitutions and whether you want to put a tall person out there or whomever.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, obviously it's tough if you just are looking at the total yards allowed, but over the past 2 weeks, would you say that this defense is starting to round back into form? Outside of that third quarter, it did seem like you more or less kept Arizona in front of you.
Yeah, I thought we did some good things, Marcel. We got the takeaways. We forced field goals. It's a good offense. I think that over the last 4 weeks, the number one offense in the league. So, just didn't get enough. At the end of the day, we got to make one more play.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Sean, I know that these feel like, sticking fingers in wounds that haven't even healed yet, let alone, picking scabs when we ask these questions. But I want to ask you this respectfully, because I know
I can
you
take
love.
it, Tim. Sorry,
No,
I
no,
can
no.
take it. I can take it.
I know you can, but I'm actually
Part
going
of
to
the
maybe
job.
surprise you, and I might surprise you here. I know you love your players, and we get to see a lot of times your post-game speeches anyway. The team will put them out there, and we get to see them. Can you tell us what you told your players? Because rather than what we're asking you, what did you want to go in that locker room and tell your guys after this game?
I think it was just pretty straightforward that it hurts. I know it hurts. Hurts us all. If it doesn't hurt, then something's wrong with you, right? We work hard. We work our butts off, man, and you never want to go down. You never want to go down on the last play of the game. And I just said, we got to learn from it. And it's that feeling's got to make us. It's got to drive us harder to want it even more when we come back off the bye week.
What can you say without putting words in their mouths, because you don't know, but what did you feel in that room? What did you feel coming back from them in this?
Yeah, they're disappointed, very disappointed. I mean, whether it's me sitting in front of you on the camera now, or you could pick any one of our team from the locker room, it'd be the same feeling. And that's what I love about our guys, man. This means something to them. It means something to win. It hurts them when we lose. They put in the time, as do the coaches and the whole building. So, listen, we've changed this place, right, for the better. It's a shame when these things happen the way they do. And all I can tell you is that I got a bunch of tough guys in this locker room and gals that we're going to come back. And we're going to come back stronger.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Hey, Sean, I just have one more question, since this is the first time we've talked to you since it happened. Just, how tough is it when, this is the second time now where you guys are getting ready for a game, and then you have a player test positive, and then especially when it hits your secondary going against a receiving core like what you did today, just how tough was that to get that news yesterday about Josh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's unfortunate anytime someone tests positive, and, the guys that were apparently exposed couldn't make the trip either. And but listen, no excuses, no explanations. We got to get the job done, and I'm proud of the way that the guys, they didn't blink. To be told basically within the hour before we took off that 3 or 4 more guys were also going to not be able to make the trip. That's hard, man. And so I really appreciate the mental toughness of our group here.